Is Enlisted still worth playing in 2025 anymore? If you've been here since when the games first launched, the early days of the game, you probably remember when Enlisted felt like something special. It wasn't just another ordinary World War II shooter. It was really chaotic, gritty, and actually felt like a real battlefield sometimes. But lately, things have been different. The updates, the community, the player base, all of it. So let's talk about it. The rise, the fall, and whether Enlisted is still worth your time today. The rise of Enlisted. Let's be real. When first the Enlisted came out, it hit really hard. It gave us that World War II chaos we always wanted. Tanks rolling in, planes screaming overhead, and squads of soldiers fighting street to street. The squad system was genius. You weren't just a soldier, you were commanding an entire squad. You could switch between them mid-fight, flank enemies, and actually feel like you were part of a real unit in the massive war. The gunplay felt punchy, real, powerful. The sound design was next level, really. And the maps from Normandy to Moscow were atmospheric as hell. For a while, Enlisted felt like it was going to be the next big World War II game, the turning point. But somewhere along the way, the game started to lose focus, really. The first problem, updates. Every update felt like it fixed one thing and broke three others. One week, your favorite weapon worked perfectly. The next, it's nerfed to the ground or replaced by something totally broken. Then came the tech trees, which, let's be honest, turned into a confusing mess. There were too many currencies, too many unlocked trees, and it all felt like an unnecessarily grind. When Gaijin tried to fix it with the campaign merge update, it ended up confusing and frustrating even more players. Some players lost progress, others didn't understand where their stuff went, and the system just didn't feel that rewarding anymore. But then something changed, and not in a good way. The Steam release disaster, and then came what should have been Enlisted's big comeback, the first Steam release. It was supposed to bring thousands of new players, tons of hype, and finally put the game on the map. Instead, it flopped and failed horribly, now with a full memed cat image. When Enlisted launched on Steam, the reviews were brutal. Players complained about the grind, the monetization, and the lack of direction. Many called it pay to win, and others just couldn't really understand the confusing systems. It was a missed opportunity. The Steam launch should have revived the player base, but instead it exposed every flaw in the community and had been complaining about for years. Even the Gaijin tried patching things up after the damage was already done. The player base and the bot problem. Fast forward to 2025, you can feel it. The player base has dropped a lot. At least it isn't dead, but the difference between now and its early years, it's quite massive. You can't kick up for a match and instantly tell when the server is half full of bots, really. You'll see teammates just standing around training in straight lines or firing at walls. Those are the newbies, mostly. And sometimes it's not just half of the team, it's the entire team, minus maybe 3 real players. Sure, bots keep matchmaking times fast, but they destroy the immersion. The bots are stupid, really, and the biggest fear of Gaijin is to nuke the bots to make them better because they fear that they'll be better than the players and the player base would massively leave to other games. You can't have a massive war simulator with when 70% of your army is brain dead AIs that don't even know how to throw a grenade almost. Winning doesn't feel earned anymore, and losing feels worse than when your whole squad is bots while the other team has actual humans coordinating. The Market Garden event. When the Market Garden event came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, was nice rewards, really good rewards, but honestly was very lazy, and that's another problem of the Enlisted developers. They're not, I can't say they're lazy, but they just don't work really much. But the execution, it looked cool, sure, but it didn't really bring anything fresh to the table. Instead of a new Holland map, they just put a mod on the Omer map. The objectives were repetitive, the balance was off, and a lot of people said it just felt like another grind fest with new cosmetics slapped on the top. And the saddest part, even during the Market Garden event, you still find yourself in bot-filled lobbies or in tryhard-filled lobbies. An event that was supposed to bring life back into the game just reminded people how empty things had become. It showed flashes of what Enlisted could be. Cinematic, intense, full of energy. But those moments didn't really last long. And with that we move on to our next problem, the chat problem. And if you're played recently, you've probably seen this one. New players are spamming in the chat with need rally point, need enemy coordinates, or any nonsense every 2 seconds. It's kind of fun at first, but after the 10th time it gets really annoying. You're trying to focus on cleaning a building or holding a point, and is just filled with need enemy coordinates, need enemy coordinates, need enemy coordinates, need enemy coordinates, infinite times. It's not their fault though. This is their way of communicating. The tutorial doesn't teach player much. They just give them a control tutorial. They can't shoot bots or something like that. The test drive, it's really the practice mode is really broken. Yeah, of course they added bombers, but they didn't add enemy AI, or the tanks just don't shoot at you, which is kind of annoying and unrealistic. If they really want to have new players out, it would be better to give them a machine gun or an SMG and put some AIs in front of them that shoot them, and that way they will learn how to play this game and not be some deadass players that understand really nothing. It's not their fault really, but it's another symptom of a game that's lost its direction. It keeps bringing in new players to events, but doesn't teach them how to actually play. But it's not bad at all. Now, with all that said, Enlisted has some fight left in. Of course, the game's dying. Yeah, but the core gameplay, when it still works, it slaps. The gunfights feel intense, tanks are fun to drive, and when you get into a match that's mostly humans, the chaos is unmatched. The graphics and sound design are really incredible. Explosions echo across the map, bullets snap past your head, and the visuals are really impressive, really. But for a free-to-play game, it's enough, but the player base is just dying, sadly. And credit where it's due. Gaijin is still updating the game. They've rebalanced weapons, added new maps, improved the visuals. I can tell they haven't given up yet completely. And that moves us on to the next chapter. What Enlisted needs to fix. If Enlisted wants to survive beyond 2026, it needs a serious reality check. Here's what needs to happen in my opinion. First, a good thing they have done is don't give you desertion penalty every time you desert. They should balance monetization and fix some of their BRs, because some BRs are literally just unplayable, like BR3 or BR5, BR4. When you play BR3, or you have only like two choices or three, but the third one is really rare. Or you get down tiered, or you get up tiered to BR4, which is quite annoying if you ask me, because I've been up tiered to BR4 multiple times in a row and I just hate it. Make events with purpose. Yeah, Market Garden was cool, the rewards were fine, but it was just a lazy event. Another lazy event, like the Soviet versus Japan event. The Soviet versus Japan event was just mostly full of tryhards and other just random enlisted players that were spamming, and the maps were just from the Pacific campaign but modded, really. And Market Garden was almost really the same. But they need to give us events that actually bring strategy and teamwork back and aren't full of bots, and actually bring at least to bring a new event map to the game. But this wasn't the only problem. Enlisted had some buffs in the last time, and honestly, one of the buffs were like the Japan buff. I remember 1 month ago, where I played with a friend on the US campaign, and the Pacific campaign was literally almost unplayable due to the Japanese buff. And I'm not going to mention again the Axis branded comrades. Yes, of course, they're cool. Axis has some good players, but not really. Axis is just by far worse than Soviets, which have most of the times really players with brain that really play and know what's this game about. So what you can do if you want it to rise back, you can't really rise back, but you can put it in your wish list if you want. And that was basically the video. So have a great time, guys, and we're gonna see each other in the next video.